What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the Triple Threat Show. As always, I'm your host, Meraf Temi. Real quick, first and foremost, apologies, I've been gone for a little bit. I've been gone for about a week. It's been a rough time. Work's been getting involved. The whole interview process I talked about in the last couple videos have been really just stressing me out. But we back at it. We got to stay afloat. And honestly, I feel like I'm coming back at the right time. You know, you got the NBA playoffs kicking off tonight. We got a lot to talk about there. Going to talk about the play-in tournaments. Going to talk about all the different series. You got the NHL ending quick, fast, in a hurry. Thursday being the last day. The Bruins play their last game tonight. NHL Game 1 of all the series start on Saturday night. Or Saturday in general. We're going to dissect every one of these games. Go through the Red Sox. Go through a little bit of Red Sox talk as well. But before I get into anything, drop a follow here on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you get our content. You can follow me on Boston Sports Takes. We're on the road. We just hit 100 followers. We're on the road to 200. Well, we're just taking it step by step, honestly. And yeah, we're trying to take this above and beyond just like I'm trying to keep this as a hobby of mine. I'm going to keep doing this. I really enjoy doing it, even though sometimes I'm pretty tired. I'm drinking my second cup of coffee right now. Or tea, I should say. But regardless, like I said, we got a lot to talk about. NBA, where we're starting right now, and when I say that, I want to take a step back really quick because, and this is going to segue right into what I'm talking about. The Boston Celtics. Can we just sit here and talk about what they just did on Sunday night? It was Sunday or Monday, whatever. I think it was Sunday night. When they played the Magic with all of their bench players, you have Paolo Banchero out there. You have Desmond Bane, the guy that they traded 5 first-round picks for, out there. Throughout the whole crew. The only guy that was not on the floor that night was Franz Wagner, and he has been out the entire regular season. He's been out since December. They shut him down with a foot injury, and he's been out the whole way. Now, will he be back starting tonight? I don't know. Honestly, I don't think so. And we're going to get there as we get through the show. They don't play tonight, but with this, where I'm going with this, the Orlando Magic had all of their players outside of Franz Wagner out there playing against the Celtics. Celtics had no Jason Tatum, no Jaylen Brown, no Derek White, no Peyton Pritchard, no Neemias Queta, no Nikola Vucevic. Am I missing anybody? I don't think so. They had Baylor Shireman and Anthony Simmons and just a bunch of cast-offs. Really just cast-offs just on the floor. Their second, their third strings out there. This team not only won, this team was up in the third quarter and down. You had Luka Garza out there playing like he was, honestly, I don't even know, like he was looking like Kristaps Porzingis, hitting some of the shots he was hitting. I mean, the fadeaway jumper, the fadeaway three-point shot, down by 3 points, or I think that might have actually been tied with 8 seconds to go. You hit that shot? I mean, what are you going to do? 8 seconds, hand in your face, and Luka Garza just hits a fadeaway three-point shot in your face? You can't make it up. Baylor Shireman, 30 points in this one. Luka Garza, 27. Ron Harper Jr., 27. And I was talking about Amari Williams, my bad, not Anthony Johnson or Anthony Simmons. Amari Williams. That guy was playing out of, I mean, the stats don't show it, but if you watch the way he was playing defense, the way he was playing with effort, the whole crew, everybody was on the floor that night. So you got to give the Celtics credit where credit is due. You even have these guys coming off the bench, and I know Baylor Shireman's has been showing out this entire season. The second-year player out of Creighton that's been showing out this entire year. But you got to give this team credit. You got to give Joe Mazzulla all the credit in the world for the way that he stepped up and developed these players. And they're continuing to prove the way they've been able to put their players together, the way that they've been able to keep their cohesiveness, keep their mindset. This Celtics team is a buzzsaw. Top to bottom, they've been able to develop. They still have the top-end talent. This is going to be a good team for a long, long time. I'm telling you, do not count out the Celtics. I don't care about these. I don't care in the playoffs. The only place I would say this year they probably won't get to is they might not win the championship just because the Western Conference exists, and we're going to get there as we get through the show. But when you're looking at the Celtics, the way that they showed out on Sunday afternoon, 113 to 108 against a team, and I lied. Franz Wagner was out there. Franz Wagner with 20 points. Paolo Banchero with 23 points. Jalen Suggs with 23 points. Desmond Bane, 8 points. 8 points. The guy that they traded 5 first-round picks, pretty much their entire future, they put on this man from the Grizzlies. And then they signed him to a 5-year, $125 million deal. I think it might have been $150 million. This is the Desmond Bane that we're seeing right now. It shows a lot to do. It shows a lot with the locker room, with the cohesiveness, with the way that this team is playing right now. And that's exactly where I'm going to go. The team has already said, according to Jake Fisher, this just came out about an hour ago, the Magic are going to be dismissing their head coach, Jamal Mosley. I actually kind of like Jamal Mosley. I think he's done a good job. I think he's turned this franchise around, and he's brought Paolo Banchero in, and he's done a good job with the talent that he has. But I don't think that's enough to warrant keeping your job, unfortunately. This is a team that pushed the Celtics, that were supposed to push the Celtics to a 6, maybe 7-game series. I think it ended up going 6 games against them in the first round, but nonetheless. 2 years ago, playing the Cavs, that series was supposed to go 7 games. It did end up going 7 games, but you're telling me they do all of that. They add Desmond Bane on top of that. I think that was the nail in the coffin. When you bring all the talent that they've brought together and you get Jalen Suggs back, and you're still left with what you're left with in Orlando. Do I think they might be able to get something going if they can avoid playing the Celtics in the first round? Yes. I do think they're a better team playing at home. They have proved that the entire season. But what I want to talk about, when I'm talking about this team, you have to look at the head of the spear. You got to look at the leader of the locker room. You got to look at the leader of the team. And no, I'm not talking about the coach. I already talked about the coach, Jamal Mosley. I'm talking about Paolo Banchero. And I'm putting him on the spot. When we're talking about, these are clutch stats that I'm about to bring up. And when I say clutch stats, these are stats in the final 5 minutes in overtime. Points, assists, rebounds, the entire thing. Now, I don't have the rebounds and assists, actually, but I do have his points. In the clutch this season, this is Paolo Banchero, the former number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft. 1.9 points a game, 26% from the field, 10% from three-point range, and I think it's 37% on turnovers. Whatever TS stands for. I think it's turnovers. Whatever it is. But yeah. That's Paolo Banchero. That is Paolo Banchero right now. And a lot of people are calling him Choker of the Year. I mean, you can name it. You can literally go out there and name it. But he's out there for shooting the worst points per game. I mean, in terms of field goal percentage in the paint, he's the number 1 worst player in the NBA points scoring in the paint. And that means in the paint, in the colored area, the center of the floor, he's shooting 35%. And that's like 8 to 10 feet. See a problem with that? This is what we're talking about right now with the NBA. This is what we're talking about in the last 4 games. 12 points a game, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. This is the state of affairs in Orlando. And this is the guy that is supposed to be leading this team into a play-in game, going up against the Philadelphia 76ers squad that is loaded right now. Paul George is back. Joel Embiid is back. Tyrese Maxey's playing at his best. They have one of the best rookies in the league in VJ Edgecombe, who can go off whenever he wants. You have Quentin Grimes, who's a great shooter. He can go off whenever he wants. You have Campaign coming off the bench. And this team is going up against a Philadelphia 76ers squad the way that they're playing. It's the wrong time to be playing. It's the wrong time to have a bad day. It's the wrong time to be playing the way that they have been. Do I think they have a chance to pull it, to figure it out, to turn the season around? Yeah, I think they have a chance. I think if they can avoid the Celtics, they have a chance. And honestly, they're going to be playing, whoever wins that game between the Sixers and the Magic is going to be playing the Celtics. Also, I didn't mention that. That game that they played against the Celtics 2 nights ago, it's Tuesday, 2 nights ago, if they had won that game against the Celtic scrubs, They could have had an opportunity to host that game against the Sixers. And I literally just got done saying they're a better team at home than they are on the road. They're 31-21, or excuse me, they're 22-19 at home. They're 19-22 on the road. Doesn't seem like a whole lot, but if you look at their games that they've lost on the road versus at home, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. That's all I got to say. I mean, just go back and look at that 50-point loss that they had to the Raptors a few weeks ago in Toronto. Not like the Raptors. They've done a little bit. They've done some good things, but they ain't that good. They ain't good enough to beat a team by 50. Never mind the Orlando Magic right now with Paulo, with Franz, with Mo, with Jalen Suggs, with Desmond Bane. And I keep bringing up Desmond Bane because he's the guy that was supposed to turn this franchise around, bring this team into top 5 consideration. They're supposed to be what the Hawks are right now. Really, they're supposed to be what the Hawks are this moment, sitting in number 5 or 6, wherever they are in the Eastern Conference. That's where the Orlando Magic are supposed to be. But honestly, supposed to be better. The Raptors are what they're supposed to be. And the Raptors don't have half the talent in terms of talented, experienced players that the Magic have. They don't have them. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. They have a tough matchup against the Sixers. We'll get there in a second because we want to start with the 9-10 matchups. The 9-10 in the Eastern Conference goes on tonight. The Miami Heat are going to be playing the Charlotte Hornets. I believe that game's going to be in Charlotte as well. In Charlotte. The game's probably already tipped off or is about to tip off. That game, well, first of all, we have to talk about how Eric Spoelstra loves the play-in tournament. I think he's been in the play-in tournament the last 4 years in a row, going back to the Jimmy Butler days. I mean, this has become a serious trend with this team, loving the play-in tournament, finding themselves in the 6 through 10 spots. Every year. They haven't gotten out of it since 2021, and they were the number 1 seed that year, funny enough. But they haven't they haven't gotten out of the play-in tournament since then. This is what we're talking about here right now with this Miami Heat squad. They have a lot of good players. You have to give them props. They have the players, or they had the players back then. I don't think they have some talent right now with Jaime Jaquez, with Andrew Wiggins, with Bam Adebayo, the new 80-point scorer Bam Adebayo. But when you look at what this team has done, and they have Khalil Ware, they have Tyler Hero, but when you look at what they've done, they're just kind of wishy-washy. I don't know how else to describe it. Just wishy-washy, you know? They're just kind of, do you actually want to win a game? Do you want to be in the playoffs? Are you good enough to make the playoffs? They're always, at least this season, they're in a limbo. They really are. They can go out there and beat teams by 20, 30 points, or they can lose by 30. Literally whenever they want. Now, they play better at home, similar to what I was talking about with the Orlando Magic, but I do think Eric Spoelstra's coaching is the deciding factor when you talk about this Miami Heat team. If Eric Spoelstra wasn't coaching this team isn't a top 10 team. I mean, you have to bring into account how bad the Eastern Conference is. You'd have to talk about the Bucks, the Bulls, the Nets, the Pacers. You have 3 60-loss teams and 2 50-loss teams under them. That's what we're talking about in the Eastern Conference. So somebody has to get that 10 spot. It just happened to be the Miami Heat this time around. But this is Pat Riley we're talking about. This is Eric Spoelstra we're talking about. This is a guy in Bam Adebayo who's been to an NBA Finals. Tyler Hero who's been there. Andrew Wiggins I don't think was on that Warriors team in 2022, but still. They have players that have been in big-time games, in big-time situations. How they continue to find themselves in these situations is beyond me. But they're going to be playing against a really good Charlotte Hornets team. And I'm going to roll with the Hornets tonight. I'm going to roll the dice on this Miami Heat team. Yes, I said Spoelstra is going to be exceptionally well coached and have these guys ready to go. But this is a brand new season. But this is a Charlotte Hornets team who have the top 2 three-point makers in the entire league. 1 and 2 on the same team. I'm not talking about Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. This is 2026, not 2016. This is LaMelo Ball and Con Knippel. Con Knippel beat him by 1 3-pointer. Top two leaders in 3-point makers. Three-pointers made in the season. Con Knippel and LaMelo Ball. This is a team with Moussa Diabate, with Brandon Miller, the former number 2 overall pick in the draft. This is a team that is just filled with absolute studs, with shot makers everywhere you look, that is not going to go down without a fight. They have a guy by the name of Miles Bridges, who's an unbelievable two-way player. I just said Moussa Diabate. They have Liam McNeely, which if you don't know Liam McNeely, do me a favor, go look up UConn. Go look up Liam McNeely. Enjoy the way that this man plays. Off the bench, 3-point shooting, passing. He's a shorter guard, so it does make a difference in the NBA. There's a reason he comes off the bench, though. Ryan Kalkbrenner, phenomenal center from, funny enough, Creighton as well. Kobe White, the guy that the Bulls decided to let go of. That a week ago, I was literally sitting here talking about how the Bulls deciding to trade some of these key players is a reason why their executive and their head coach are on the hot seat and most likely not going to be keeping their jobs. Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, all these guys, the guys that they shipped out that are helping these other teams like the Minnesota Timberwolves, like the Charlotte Hornets right now. These are the types of players that the Charlotte Hornets are having and are growing right now around a core with LaMelo Ball, who's turning into a top 10 point guard in the league right now. Yes, I said a top 10 point guard in the league right now. And Con Knippel, who's borderline getting ready. I'm not saying he's going to be in the conversation or he's there yet. But he's a damn good player. He's in Rookie of the Year conversations for a reason. A lot of people have him as number 1. It's him or Cooper Flagg. I personally have him number 2. But this is a guy in Con Knippel. He was number 1 for me for a while. Over the last 2 months, Cooper Flagg just took full effect. Only because Cooper Flagg's literally sitting there playing by himself. But when you look at the stats, Con Knippel has arguably better stats than Cooper Flagg. His 3-point shooting, his defense, his playmaking, his shot making. That's Con Knippel we're talking about. Leader in 3-pointers made this season. That's all I'm saying. This team is loaded offensively, defensively, is physical, can play with poise, can play with space, can play with pace. They're the scariest team in the play-in tournament right now. I don't want to hear about the Sixers. I don't want to hear about the Magic. I just got done talking about the Magic. No. This is the team right now in the Eastern Conference in the play-in tournament. The Charlotte Hornets. They're going to be a team to deal with, especially if they pull the Pistons in the first round. We've seen some of their fireworks throughout this season. That's going to be a very fun matchup. I think we're going to see that. We're at least going to see them getting out of this play-in tournament game tonight as they go on to the winner or the loser, of the 7-8 game. When we get to the 7-8 game, I literally was just talking about the Sixers Magic. It's going to be the Magic that lose that game. Why? Because they're not going to be at home. That's why. Because you have to deal with Joel Embiid and Paul George and Tyrese Maxey and the whole crew over there that is ready to go and has a fully loaded roster. Fully loaded roster in the Philadelphia 76ers that have been playing unbelievably ever since they've gotten their guys back. Give me the Philadelphia 76ers to win that game and go on to play the Boston Celtics in the first round. Sneak peek. But that's all I'm going to say. As we go from there, we'll go straight into the 1-8 matchup. Like we said, we didn't even get to the next play-in tournament game. It's going to be Magic Hornets. Give me the Hornets. Easy peasy. Throw it out the window. Pistons, Hornets, Celtics, Sixers, Knicks, Hawks, Cavs, and Raptors. I'm going to start from out at 1-8 and go all the way in. We're going to start in the Eastern Conference, and then we're going to move to the Western Conference. So hold your horses. If you're a Lakers fan, if you're a Thunder fan, Spurs, Nuggets, any of those teams, give me a second. Pistons and Hornets. Give me the Pistons all day, every day. I love this Hornets team. They're probably going to push. They might win a game. But I don't think it goes past 5, max 6 games. I like LaMelo Ball. I like what he's done. I like Con Knippel. but they're not going to match up to Cade Cunningham. They're not going to match up to Jalen Duren. They're not going to match up to Asser Thompson and Ron Holland and the rest of the crew that has been building over there this entire season. This is a 60-win team for a reason. They're 8-2 in their last 10, and I think they're like 9-2 or 9-3 without Cade Cunningham. They were 9-3 without Cade Cunningham in the lineup, or 8-3. This is the team that we're talking about right now in the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. They deserve all the props in the world. They've been the best team all year long. The Celtics have come on of late, but even then, the Pistons have been that good this entire year. They've been that good. And even if they played the Celtics, it would be a 7-game series. It's not even a question in my mind. That is how good Cade Cunningham has been. That's how good Jalen Duren has continued to be this entire year. He's literally turned into a 25-12 guy without Cade in the lineup. This team got better without Cade in the lineup. What's going to happen when Cade comes back? And when I say better, I mean continuity-wise. They've been able to grow some chemistry. What happens when you bring the number one ball handler, the guy that creates all the offense, bring him back into the fold? You can think of it like, oh, this is a team that's going to fall and crumble under the pressure. They're going to struggle to get their chemistry back. Wrong. No, they're going to be better without him. This guy, Dennis Jenkins, that was the number one scorer on this team outside of Jalen Duren. He was averaging literally 20 a game without Cade in the lineup. This kid is going to get better. He's going to be playing off the bench, but he's going to be able to lead that second unit without Cade in the lineup. It's going to be able to give Cade some opportunity to get his legs under him before he has to play that Celtics team. So when he plays the Celtics in the conference finals, if he plays the Celtics in the conference finals, he'll be ready to go. He'll have his guys ready to go. His legs will be under him. His lungs, his cardio, everything will be set and back to normal. What Cade Cunningham, MVP Cade Cunningham, looked like in the regular season. That's all I'm saying. This is a team that's having their guys all on 20-minute restrictions on Friday when they played the Charlotte Hornets in their second to last game. And they still beat the Hornets by 18. I don't know, man. And that was in Charlotte. This Hornets team is good. I think they, unfortunately, just had a tough draw. If they played the Knicks in the first round, the Knicks would be an upset watch. If they played the Cavs, the Hawks, the Raptors, these teams would all be on upset watch from 3 all the way down. But those top 2 teams, it's a different level. It's a different echelon. It's a different world up there. And this Hornets team is going to need to continue to grow around one another. Get some extra pieces, get some guys, get some experience under your belt, and come back next year. Hopefully, a better version of yourself when you face these top 2 teams. Give me the Pistons in 5 games. And that's only because I give the Hornets 1 game. They'll fight and win 1 game. They're that good of a team. They will win one of these games. When they get hot, they get red hot. Like red hot. So, give me the Pistons. They'll lose one of those games. Pistons will have a bad shooting night, and the Hornets will win 1 game. But that's all I got to say about that one. Celtics and Sixers, first round, classic. Joel Embiid has to come back to Boston. We love to see it. We love to see Joel Embiid in the parquet. Why? Because we own the Sixers every time they show out. Do we forget Jason Tatum putting up a 50-piece in a Game 7? Do we forget what Jaylen Brown does against them? I know they did a couple things throughout the regular season. Don't get me wrong. They're still a good team. But this Celtics team, when you have Jason Tatum on the floor, the Sixers can't handle them. It might be a close game a couple times, but they can't handle them. March 1st, when these 2 teams played, the last time they played, Celtics win by 16. I think they ended up splitting the season series. They lost opening day, and they lost a couple weeks after. But when you look at it, it was a 3-point difference. 3 between 2 games. First game they won by 2, or first game they won by 1. The second game they won by 2. And honestly, it's night and day when you look at what this team was on opening night on October 22nd to what they look like now on April 14th. It's night and day. It really is. It's insane. It's crazy. You look at Neemias Queta, the way he's grown into a legit big man. You look at what Jaylen Brown has continued to do. Jaylen Brown's still looking like his 25, 30-piece self. But you look at what Derek White has done, Peyton Pritchard has done. You don't have Xavier. Honestly, you don't have half the guys that they had then. They don't have Xavier Tillman anymore. They don't have Chris Boucher anymore. They don't have Josh Minnow anymore. And they don't have Anthony Simons anymore. Instead, you got Baylor Shireman. You have Nikola Vucevic. And the way he's been able to ball out. These players are ready to go for this moment. And they're back at the right time. And did I mention that they have a guy by the name of Jason Tatum on the floor? This team is ready to go. Give me the Celtics in 4. It's going to be a sweep. I'm sorry to say, Sixers fans, we still own you, bro. The Celtics are still that good of a team. They still own you through all the way through. VJ Edgecombe can't help you this time. Tyrese Maxey can't help you this time. Paul George definitely won't help you this time. And Joel Embiid, just please, for the love of God, just don't get hurt. As an NBA fan myself, I'm not even talking about the Celtics anymore. As an NBA fan, just don't get hurt, brother. Ball out, put your effort out there, make the best of yourself, try and get traded this offseason to a better team. That's all I'm going to say, because the Sixers don't deserve you, and low-key, you should probably get out of there because they probably won't like you if you lose to the Celtics again. Just all I'm going to say. But, yeah, so Pistons in 5, Celtics in 4. Let's move on to the next round. Knicks and Hawks. This is an interesting round because if you look at the Hawks, the way that they've played throughout the tail end of this season, they're 6-4 in their last 10. They're red hot everywhere you look. They've been red hot throughout the tail end of this season. They actually played about a week ago, and that was the CJ McCollum heave from half court that I saw. I was literally here on TikTok live watching that play. As CJ McCollum just decided to heave it from half court, went in. Fortunately, his fingers were stuck to the ball at the last second, so it didn't count. It would end up going to overtime. But these two teams are going to be squaring off in the first round. Give me the Knicks, but in 7. Give me the Knicks in 7 games. I'm not counting out the Knicks. I'm just saying, watch out for this Hawks team. This Hawks team is athletic, is a shot-making team. They're a group of snipers everywhere you look. They're a group of absolute snipers throughout thick and thin, everywhere you look. I honestly thought they were going to be facing off against the Cavs, but the fact that they lost against the Miami Heat bumped them to 6. It is what it is. I don't think they really cared. I honestly think after that overtime loss, they were hunting and they were looking for the New York Knicks. That's what I think. That is what I personally think. The way that Nickeil Alexander-Walker has taken off, CJ McCollum has continued to rewrite the critics against him. The way he's performed this season, CJ McCollum deserves to win one of the I'm not saying most improved player, but in terms of how valuable he's been to this team since the trade deadline, CJ McCollum deserves to be in that conversation. 18 points a game, 3 rebounds, 4 assists a game. Shooting 45% from the field. This is the guy that we're talking about, CJ McCollum. He's been absolute dynamite in the paint, getting to the lane, being a playmaker, being a facilitator for this offense. Jalen Johnson continues to be a skywalker with the way he's able to play on both sides of the floor, shot making, defensively. Dyson Daniels continues to be a defensive presence, going to be guarding Jalen Brunson this entire season, or series, excuse me. This series is going to go 7 games, and it's going to go back to New York for a Game 7. That is the only unequivocal reason I will say the Knicks will win Game 7, because they will be back in Madison Square Garden. Jalen Brunson will have a career game, and they will go up and lift them over the Hawks in a Game 7. It'll happen. It'll really happen. The Hawks will have a fighting chance. If they catch the Knicks on a bad shooting night, if the Knicks lose in the first round, you better not lose to the Hawks in the first round. You better not lose to the Hawks in the first round. You better not lose to the Hawks in the first round. Mike Brown, the whole team, Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, you better not lose to the Hawks in the first round. Give me the Knicks in 7 games, but you better not lose to the Hawks. This is going to be a series that we keep our eye on throughout the playoffs. It's going to be a fun one. But going to the 4-5 matchup, Cavs and Raptors, I like the Raptors. They're a fun team. Congratulations to Brandon Ingram and RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley for restarting a franchise that had no business even being in the top 5 of the Eastern Conference. But your season ends against the Cavaliers. I apologize. You're just not beating the Cavs. You're not beating Donovan Mitchell. You're not beating James Harden. You're not beating Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. You're just not doing it. I like the Raptors a lot. I do. I think they have playmakers. They have guys that can make shots. They might win a couple games. They'll win at least one game. It'll go 5 games. But that's about it. Give me the Cavs in 5 games. Gentlemen's sweep, and they move on to the second round of the playoffs. With what I just said, that means the top 4 seeds move on to the second round. I do think the Hawks have a chance, though. So we'll keep our eye out on that one. It'll go 7 games at least. I'm not going to go past the first round just because it's early. I'll just give my finals picks I'm going to give my NBA champion pick when we're all set and done with the show. We're going to go through the playoffs. We'll move on to the NHL. We'll move into baseball. A little bit of football. There is a little bit of football that we do have to talk about. You know what I'm talking about. We'll get there in a second. Don't you worry. But when the time comes, I'll give my NBA champion pick. Who's going to win the NBA Finals? We'll get there in a sec, though. Let's get to the Western Conference. We went through the Eastern Conference. Went and saw how all the teams did. Quick scoreboard break. Hornets Heat are playing right now, like I said, 22-18 in favor of the Hornets. 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. Miles Bridges with 8 points in the first quarter. Do you see what I'm saying right now? This Hornets team is that good where they just have snipers everywhere. LaMelo Ball has 9. Brandon Miller has 3. They're already sniping from downtown. They're already going from downtown. So this team is already red hot. Might be a bad day for Miami. That's all I'm going to say. But let's get to the Western Conference. We went through the East. Let's get to the West. Let's start in the play-in tournament. I'm going to start with the game tonight. It's not the 9-10 matchup. It's the 7-8. I don't know why. I have a feeling why, because the 9-10 matchup should low-key be the 7-8, or at least what people expected. But it's not about what you expect. It's about what actually is. Trailblazers, Phoenix Suns. These two teams, at least the Portland Trailblazers, come out of absolutely no... I said the Raptors don't deserve to be in the top 5. The Portland Trailblazers were supposed to be a team in the bottom 5, in the bottom 3 of the Western Conference. The Grizzlies were supposed to be better than them. The Kings were supposed to be better than them. Honestly, that's about it. But the Clippers and Warriors were definitely supposed to be better than them. And yes, that's the 9-10 matchup. But we are sitting here right now with the Trailblazers and the Suns in Phoenix tonight, taking on for the 7-8 matchup. I'm going to start with the Trailblazers just because of what they've done. Denny Avdija, I'm not going to make the jokes. You know what the jokes are. I'm not going to explain them. Donovan, he's been a 25 point per game scorer. He was an all-star this year for a reason. The way that he's been able to play this entire year, the way he plays with speed, he might be the quick, in terms of being like a lightning bolt getting to the bat. I think he gets to the bat. He might be the quickest player in the NBA. I'm being so serious. The way he's able to get to the basket in like 6 seconds, 6-7 seconds. Yes, the way he's able to get to the basket in lightning speed. Denny Avdija is one of the best point guards. He's probably the most underrated point guard in the NBA right now. He is. He's up there with LaMelo Ball for top 10 consideration. He is. That's how good he's been this entire year. I'd say probably closer to top 12, but that's Denny Avdija for you. You have Donovan Clingan as your center. He's been an absolute monster this entire year. We love Donovan Clingan, the kid from UConn that won a national championship. He's been a double-double machine this entire season. He's been a double-double machine. Scoot Henderson continuing to develop. He's a little bit of a bench player, but the way he's been able to play on both sides of the ball, we like Scoot Henderson, and he's learning a thing or two from the real number one defensive presence on the floor for the Trailblazers, Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday, an NBA champion, 2-time NBA champion. One with the Bucks, one with the Celtics. 1-time defensive player of the year. Really one of the best defensive players in basketball. I don't care how old he is, especially in the playoffs, he's going to be ready to go. This team is ready to go when they need him most. They have Matisse Thybulle as well, who was in Defensive Player of the Year conversations a couple years ago. This team is ready to go at the right time. This team is ready to go. They're sharp. They're poised. They're a team that you didn't want to face in the play-in tournament. You wanted to avoid them at all costs. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're like, I think I went through the schedule. They're like 15-7 in their last in the last couple of months. This team is a buzzsaw. They unfortunately they're 15-7 because they play in the Western Conference and they have to play teams like the Spurs and the Nuggets. And I'm not crazy. They're not going to go out there and beat those kinds of teams. But they will go out there and beat the Phoenix Suns tonight. Give me the Portland Trailblazers. It's going to be a close game all the way through. I like the Phoenix Suns. I like what Dillon Brooks has added to this team. Devin Booker is still the number one option on this team. Jalen Green has brought a different side of him over the last few games, or at least throughout the last few games. He's continued to be one of the best players on the floor. Colin Gillespie is still there. Grayson Allen is still there, playing really good basketball off the bench. You have good pieces everywhere you look. But you don't have what the Portland Trailblazers have. And what the Portland Trailblazers have is heart, is effort, is guys that are going to scrum, that are going to play their heart out. And I think they're going to catch the Suns in a bad spot late in the game, take over the game, and just out-hustle them. Give me the Trailblazers in a really close game to hang around, and steal this one in Phoenix to go on to face the San Antonio Spurs in the first round. 9-10 matchup, Clippers-Warriors. That's going to be tomorrow. Kawhi Leonard, Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler has put some goofy tweets out there. I'll call them goofy tweets because, I'm doubtful to play against the Clippers. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. If Jimmy Butler's there, the Warriors are a real threat. But no. Brandon Podziemski also got hurt in their final game of the season. I hate to see it from a guy that's been an absolute one of the most improved players this entire season. At least the last half of the season. A guy that nobody believed in. I still believe in the kid. I think he's still a little bit inconsistent. And I think when Steph Curry comes back and has been back, he's played a little bit more off ball. I think he's an on ball point guard, and that's how he gets his experience. That's how he's gotten better this season. He's really kept the Warriors in games this entire year. But Steph Curry by himself is not going to be enough. Give me the LA Clippers to beat the Warriors. The Warriors have been 3-7 in their last 10. They have already said, like they say every year, we're going to be active in the trade deadline. If you can get LeBron, if you can get Giannis Antetokounmpo, if you can get some of these other guys that are going to be on the market, go out there and try to get them. Maybe Paulo Banchero's on the market this year. Maybe he can get a 3-point shot, learning from Steph Curry. That's not a terrible pair up if they can get Paulo Banchero. He's a great player on both sides of the ball, outside of shooting sometimes. But that would be interesting. That would be an interesting thing to keep our eye out on. But give me the Clippers to go out there and beat them. Face the loser of the 7-8. That'll be the Phoenix Suns. I want to pick the Suns. I'm going to roll with my gut. I'm going to say the Suns win that game in the 7-8 to go on to face the Oklahoma City Thunder in the first round. Thunder, Suns, Spurs, Trailblazers, Nuggets, Timberwolves. I can't wait to talk about that. And Lakers, Rockets, which is also a fun one. Let's get the appetizers out. Let's get the greens off the plate. Thunder, Suns. Congratulations, great season. You won 45 games. Hallelujah. And sayonara. We'll see you in Cancun. Give me the Thunder in 4-game sweep easy. Spurs, Trailblazers. Trailblazers might get close and win one game. They might, the way that they've played this season. They've played the Spurs tough all season as well, so I'm not counting them out. But give me the Spurs in 4. Maybe the Trailblazers might maybe get you one. But give me the Spurs to win in 4. Now that the greens are off the plate. Yes, I keep ripping my hydration. If you hate it, let me know in the comments. If it's distracting, if you want me to edit out, let me know in the comments. I just kind of let these roll, though. Nuggets and T-Wolves. Nuggets and T-Wolves, Ant-Man versus the Joker, Jamal Murray versus this team that has been their arch nemesis over the last 2 years. The team that knocked them out of the playoffs 2 years ago. The Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver. This is going to be absolute cinema for these two teams. These two teams do not like one another. They play each other with an absolute distaste. They don't care. They throw caution in the wind whenever they get the chance. Both of these teams. Nikola Jokic loves these moments. Give me the Nuggets in 7 games. In 7 games. It will be a long series. It will go 7 games. Anthony Edwards will have his games where he goes off for 40 because nobody's going out there and stopping Anthony Edwards. I'm sorry, Cam Johnson. He's going to eat you up for lunch. Peyton Watson, just go sit in the corner and go try and guard somebody else. I don't know. Go try and guard Naz Reid or something. But Anthony Edwards is going to go out there and have his 40-point games. Nikola Jokic is also going to have his 40-point games. This series comes down to the role players for the Nuggets. It comes down to Jamal Murray, to Cam Johnson, to Peyton Watson, to Aaron Gordon. If these guys can play and put their talents on display like we know they can, the Nuggets go out there and win this series in 7 games. If they do not, the Minnesota Timberwolves will win this series again. And if they do, we need to have serious discussions about the Timberwolves being better than the Nuggets. And I mean it. And honestly, it's not out of the world of comprehension. With their additions at the trade deadline, adding Bones Highland, adding Ayo Dosunmu, and also I'm pretty sure Anthony Edwards isn't even 100% healthy. He hasn't played a whole lot the regular season. They still have Julius Randle still playing pretty good basketball. Dante DiVincenzo is still there. Mike Conley is still there. You have a slew of guys that not only are ready to play, that also kind of want to play together, that have a great group, a cohesion of chemistry. They're incredibly well balanced. This is a Timberwolves team that is an absolute buzzsaw. And they're looking at the Oklahoma City Thunder. But you have to get past the Denver Nuggets to get there. I'm not saying it's a gimme. I'm not saying you can do it. I am saying you can do it. But give me the Nuggets to win in 7 games. This is going to be a phenomenal series. Phenomenal series. I can't wait to see it. But Lakers-Rockets, this series comes down. This is LeBron and Kevin Durant. Out of the way really quick. Because we know how good this is. LeBron, we all remember Cavs and Warriors back in the day. We all remember, well, some of us remember. I remember. This is one of my first memories about the NBA, outside of Celtics. LeBron going up against Kevin Durant with Miami and OKC. NBA Finals 2014. We're seeing these two guys go head-to-head for the first time since 2018 when they played in the finals. This is going to be a phenomenal series. LeBron's ready to go. Year 23, 42-year-old LeBron James. Kevin Durant has been leading this team. Amen Thompson has been an absolute buzzsaw. Had 40 points in his last game that he played. I don't think he played against the... He didn't play... I think it was the game against the Timberwolves. He had 41 points, 17 of 22 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3, 7 of 7 from the free throw line. His points came from twos, and he scored 40. This is the Amen Thompson that we're talking about now. And we didn't even get to Kevin Durant. I didn't even get to Alperen Şengün. I didn't even get to Ime Udoka. This team is ready to go at the right time. They have their guys coming together at the right time. They finally moved Reed Shepherd to the bench, meaning Amen Thompson is going to be their starting point guard from here on out. With Josh Okogie, with Jabari Smith, with Kevin Durant, with Alperen Şengün. That starting 5 is going to give the Lakers hell. Amen Thompson is going to give LeBron fits the entire series. And the reason I wanted to start with the Rockets is because what the Lakers look like right now. Outside of LeBron James, this team is running off absolute fumes. And I mean fumes, like reserves. Like Rui Hachimura is playing 30 minutes. Like DeAndre Ayton is playing over 25 minutes a game. And yeah, he had 22 and 12 against the Utah Jazz. Good luck when you're playing against Şengün or Clint Capella. I don't care how old Clint Capella is. He can still have 10 and 10 whenever he wants. Rui Hachimura, Luke Kennard, Marcus Smart. Not Celtics Marcus Smart, because I love that man. This man that is 33, 34-year-old Marcus Smart. Bronny James and Jake LaRavia. This team is begging to have their two stars back. Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. They're both in contention to come back midway through the series. If maybe game 3, game 4. I think it's probably likely game 4 or game 5, honestly, if you ask me. If you ask me right now, Luka Doncic probably comes back in game 4. He'll probably force it back. And that's the last thing you want to see from a guy that is coming off a hamstring injury. For a guy to go out there and force his way onto the court when he has no business doing so. But that's the state of the NBA right now. That's the state of the Los Angeles Lakers. It is really, it's all on LeBron James, who played 17 minutes in his last game against the Jazz, but that was against the Jazz. If you look at the game against the Suns, he played 32 minutes. Hachimura played 31. Ayton played 30. Luke Kennard played 28. You see the problem? Luke Kennard's also the number one shooting three-pointer in terms of three-point percentage in the NBA right now. So there is that stat. But this is a Lakers team that has nothing going for them outside of a 42-year-old that is trying to carry them like it's 2018. And we all remember the 2018 Cavs. At least I do, because the poster is sitting right there. Right there. I'll show it to you guys at the end of the day. But it's there. Give me the Lakers to go down in 6 games. And I say 6 if Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic come back on the court healthy. It's a different story. This Rockets team is good. But when you have to give them multiple guys for them to pay attention to, and you turn the game into a track meet, like Luka Doncic does, like Austin Reeves can do when he has Luka with him, when he has LeBron James next to him, it turns into a different game. This isn't the Minnesota Timberwolves that the Lakers are playing. This is the Houston Rockets. They can play the Rockets. They can beat the Rockets at their own game. They're young, the Rockets are, and the Lakers have their experience. If they can get Luka back, I'll take the Lakers to come back and win this series in 7 games. Until I see that, the Lakers go down in 6. And 6. I only say that because I have this in my hand. Big ass mug, no? Big ass mug. But yeah, give me the Lakers to go down in 6 games. That will mean the Rockets advance. I still kind of don't want to talk about my pick is the Nuggets, but in that case, then the outside of the Lakers, the top 5 seeds win. So, yeah. Outside of the Timberwolves, nobody else also has a chance. So there is that stat too. But that's that. That is the NBA. Thunder, Spurs, Nuggets, and Rockets make it to the second round of the Western Conference playoffs. I think that would mean the Nuggets go up against the Spurs and the Rockets play the Thunder. In the Eastern Conference with my picks, the Pistons would play the Cavs, and the Celtics would play the Knicks. Jason Tatum back to his old stomping grounds. We see the rematch of last year. But yeah, that's all I got to really say. If we're being honest, we're really going through this. At least the Eastern Conference, I'm pretty confident. Outside of the Knicks and Hawks, I'm pretty confident in my picks over there. Even with that. But in the West, outside of those 2 first series, it's a wash. 3-6 and 4-5 are going to be absolute peak. Are going to be some of the best basketball that we're going to see throughout these entire playoffs. So every game is going to be must-watch TV for those series. And I'll be back every single day previewing those matchups. I'm not kidding. This is my favorite time of year. I'm going to be here for the NBA playoffs. Did I mention the NHL playoffs are going to be kicking off in about a week? Let's go right over there. We spent 49 minutes over here talking about the Eastern Conference, talking about the NBA playoffs. Let's switch gears over to the West. Let's switch gears over to hockey. Because the hockey, playoffs, the NHL playoffs, need to be discussed. I'm going to start with my Bruins because it's been a long couple of weeks. Do you see how happy I am? I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Mesa, please help these people. Please help these people understand. They don't understand. They don't understand what this team does to us. I love how I say us when you're not a Bruins fan. But, yeah, the Bruins went on a 5-game losing streak while I was gone. I'm pretty sure I was here for the first part of it, but I wasn't here for when they faced the Lightning or the Senators. They beat the Blue Jackets on Sunday, and they're up 4-0 right now against the Devils. So that's a good sign. With that being said, if the Bruins decide to not blow a four-goal lead, which is not out of the realm of competition, no one out of the realm of thinking, knowing this team. I'll also shout out this kid, James Higgins, absolute stud, playing his first game for the Bruins. But if they don't blow this four-goal lead, they will be clinching the number 1 wildcard seed. Now, why does that matter? That means you don't have to play the Hurricanes. Hallelujah. You don't have to get your ass kicked by the Hurricanes again. Because God knows you've gotten your ass kicked two of the last 3 years. Or 2 of the last 4 years, actually, by the Hurricanes. Because the other 2 were the Panthers, who aren't there anymore. Who aren't there this year. But yeah, that's the state of affairs in Boston. When you're looking around the rest of the Atlantic, because I want to start in the Atlantic when we're going through this. Sabres still sit at the top of the conference with 108 points. They're still the leading team. They're on a 4-game win streak. They're playing the Dallas Stars tomorrow night. That is a massive game for them because you have the Tampa Bay Lightning nipping at their heels. Them and the Canadiens are sitting 2 points back. They're playing the Rangers tomorrow, so that is going to play in their favor in Tampa Bay. Sabres have to go on the road to Dallas tomorrow. On the other side, I bring up 2. Got to get to the Canadian side. They're down 2-1 against a good, hungry Flyers team that is still in the playoff mix. That is why they're probably playing in full desperation mode. If the Canadians don't end up winning this game, that is hallelujah to the chances for the Bruins. We'll get there in a second as well. We'll get there when we fully. I want to go through the standings, at least in the Atlantic, before I dive deep into who I think we are going to play and who we want to play and who we don't want to play, because you got to go step by step, category by category if you want to talk about the NHL. At least when you're talking about the Bruins. The Celtics, throw anybody at them in the Eastern Conference. Throw anybody at them. I don't care. The Bruins, it's pick and choose. It's hope and pray that you don't face some of these teams, because if you do, it's I think it's time to hang up the jersey. I think it's time that we go to Cancun, take the shirts off, put the bathing suit on, jump in the pool. Seriously, that's what we're talking about with the Bruins. But when we're talking about this, I bring up the Sabres, Lightning, and Canadiens all in full play for the number 1 seed. Sabres are sitting 2 points up. Canadiens and Lightning are both tied at 106. Lightning get the edge only because of the season series. But the Bruins still sitting at 4. If they can get this win tonight, they'll get the lead over the Senators, a lead that the Senators won't be able to jump the Bruins on. They're still up 4 goals. Hallelujah. But the Senators, I don't think they play the Maple Leafs tomorrow. Get it done. That way we can take a breath and relax. Bruins need to get it done in before overtime as well, so they can get the full 3 points. But like I said, that's the Atlantic Division. I wanted to do that really quick. Now that we can go category by category. Please, hockey gods, let the Sabres beat the Dallas Stars so we can relax. I don't mind playing the Lightning, even though the Lightning have kicked our ass this entire regular season. But do not give us the Canadiens. Do not. If there is one team, if you had to give me a team to pick to come out of the Eastern Conference to go to the Stanley Cup final, it's the Montreal Canadiens right now. It is. I would say, honestly, the team that's least likely to make it to the Stanley Cup final is probably the Bruins. So that also kind of plays a role. But when you look at the Sabres, honestly, the team that we want to play most is the Sabres. It is. It's a team that's young, a team that we've kind of not had our way with, but have had some sort of competitive moments that we've actually beaten this year. Yeah, that's Sabres, not the Lightning, not the Canadians, and not the Senators either. The Senators are a team that is going to give teams fits. They're a team that you don't want to play. But the Bruins going up against the Sabres would be a dream come true. The Lightning, not so much, because the Lightning have beaten us. They did literally beat us twice over the last 2 weeks, and I think they won the season series like 3-1. But anybody with the Canadians, with the way that team has been playing, 8-2 in their last 10. I'm not talking overtime. I'm saying 8-2, 2 losses the entire regular season, over their last 10 games. They may lose tonight against the Flyers, but this is a team you don't want to play. I promise you, you do not want to play them. They're an absolute buzzsaw. And if they can play again, if they can one of those teams can take each other out, the Lightning and the Canadians in the first round, that would be a dream come true. That would be a phenomenal series to watch. I'm not going to give my full NHL picks today because the season's not over. Wait till Thursday for that. But if you go to the other side, you get the Hurricanes and the Hurricanes, Penguins, and Flyers have all clinched a playoff spot because the top 3 seeds in each division make it. Hurricanes are most likely going out there to face the Senators, as long as the Bruins don't choke. And the Penguins will play the Flyers. 2 phenomenal series. Phenomenal series. That way, I honestly can't wait to see. And then we get to the Western Conference. Really quick, I'll just preview the Western Conference. The Colorado Avalanche, 53 wins, 16 losses. I digress. Literally the most points in the entire league. Followed by the Dallas Stars. Minnesota Wild have been a phenomenal team as well. They're on a 3-game skid. I kind of view them like I view the Boston Bruins right now, the Minnesota Wild. They're a good team. They're not a great team, though. I expect the Stars to take them out in 5 or 6 games. But the Mammoth, shout out the Utah Mammoth, who have made the playoffs in their first season. On the other side in the Pacific, it's a absolute trash heap with the Vegas Golden Knights, the Edmonton Oilers. Oilers, can they actually make a playoff run? Maybe. They have the best player in the world in Connor McDavid and Eric Draisaitl. Shout out. I watched that game against the Bruins. Those 2 guys are insanely good at hockey. But shout out the Anaheim Ducks and the LA Kings to make the playoffs. And the San Jose Sharks are right outside, but they don't make it. I think the Kings have an opportunity to go on a playoff run if they can draw a good matchup in the wild card round. But that's if. Right now, it looks like they're going to be playing the Colorado Avalanche. They might win 1, maybe, but that's about it. It's going to be a phenomenal playoffs in the NHL. I can't wait to see it. But we're going to keep our eyes on the Bruins and where they're at because I'm a Bruins fan. And you got to wait till Thursday for our full picks. I'm also, I'll be honest, I'm more of a basketball guy than I'm a hockey guy. I'm getting more into hockey. I like hockey, especially in the playoffs. They're probably one of my favorite sports to watch. But right now, it's heating up. But you got it's patience. It's patience. You got to exercise some patience. And I'll get some stats available or ready to go for Thursday. So we have a full show. A lot of stuff to talk about for that. I say Thursday because, well, actually, I'll do it Friday because Thursday is the last day of the regular season. That's why I say that. NHL playoffs face off. I have to think of what the word was. Face off on Saturday. But I saw that I was going to talk about the NBA, NHL. I'm going to circle back to the NBA. Hold your horses. But we're going to switch gears to the MLB, specifically with my Red Sox. Garrett Crochet possibly has one of the worst outings we've ever seen him have. Pitches 11 innings. Pitches 2 innings, gives up 11 runs. 2 home runs, 9 hits, or 9 runs. I don't know. I don't know exactly what the numbers are. But, I mean, I saw some of the plays. It was bad. It was real bad. Twins, and this was against the Minnesota Twins, end up winning that game 13-6. Full stats, 9 hits, 10 earned runs, 3 walks, 0 strikeouts. Had 5 outs the entire two innings. Didn't even go a full 2 innings. Bumps his ERA up to 7.5. Definitely not the best look for a Red Sox team that's now sitting at 6-10. They do win a couple series. They beat the Cardinals. They beat the Brewers, but they are down. They lose the first game to the Twins. They're down 2-0 in their second game. Not looking like a good one for the Red Sox as they continue to struggle as they start the regular season. This is a team. This is a topic in a league that I definitely need help discussing. I know the rules full and well, but definitely not my forte to watch. Not something I watch in my day-to-day. So I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to leave the rest to my boys Jeremy Lapidus and Nolan Jambor to take it away. But just want to talk about that really quick with Garrett Crochet and the Red Sox because Boston show. Got to do it. Last thing I want to talk about before we circle back to the NBA, because there are 2 things I remembered one thing I want to talk about with the NBA. Diana Russini. As a journalist, this kind of hurts for 2 reasons. I actually really highly respect Diana Russini's work. She is one of the best analysts and insiders in the NFL. She's one of the best at what she does. She's a star. She's an absolute star at what she does. And that's why it hurts, because what we're taught in journalism is the number one rule that you do not ever break is you get into a relationship or you interview somebody or a story, you write a story about somebody that you have any sort of personal or alignment with. When I say alignment, if you can keep friendship and professionalism separate, that's one thing. And when I say that, I mean you go out to a bar, you hang out, you talk about this, that, and the other. You're not buddy-buddy. You don't do the buddy-buddy stuff in the journalism world, especially with your interviewees. Especially. If you do, you just don't cover them. You go to your editor and you say, sorry, boss. I know this person. I'm like really close with this person. I feel like I would write this in a bad way. Give this to my colleague. They'll do a much better job in painting a better picture. To be in a personal, not only to have a personal relationship with a coach, both of those players it would be an affair for both of them. The coach and the journalist, they're both in marriages. There's a reason I didn't bring this up until today, by the way. I'm getting there. And to be the number one insider to be one of the number one insiders for ESPN, for The Athletic, for your career, and to have a affair with a head coach for an NFL team, for a team that is literally your entire job, you just don't do it. You don't. You do not do it. You can hide it, but you're in the public eye. You literally write for the public eye, and especially you're dating a guy or you're clearly having some sort of relationship with a guy who's in the public figure. Mike Vrabel was literally just in the Super Bowl. He's going to be one of the hottest names until the season starts, and even when the season starts this upcoming year. And you're going to have a relationship with that guy? And you're going to bring it into your career? Diana Russini ends up bringing her posting a resignation letter from The Athletic, which is I think is a proper thing. It shows her professionalism. She's a phenomenal analyst. She does a great job with what she does. But I can't stand by what she did. There's no cheering in the press box. As a guy by the name of Steve Fox told me, there's no cheering in the press box. There's no personal relationships in the world of journalism. You just don't do it ever, period. Diana Russini was in the wrong. She knows it. And Mike Vrabel's he's already gotten questions he's already gotten questions about it. So we'll see how that all plays out as the NFL heads into the draft in about a week. A lot of stuff to talk about there. Not the biggest guy to talk about the NFL draft, but We still do it. We still talk about it. But I want to circle back to the NBA. Two things I want to talk about before I get to the championship. I want to talk about the Hall of Fame class. I got how much battery I got? 33%. I got one left. I got one more rant left in me. I got one more rant, and I'll probably clip this and post it on TikTok as well, YouTube, everywhere. The NBA needs to talk about their Hall of Fame issue. You need to really figure out who you're inducting into the Hall of Fame. Some of their guys, no problem. But if you go down the list, either take some of these guys out, or just elevate your standards of players that are able to get there. Some of that goes on Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, because some of those decisions come from him. But when you're looking at what the NBA has done over the last couple of years, at least this season, and I'm going somewhere with this, stay with me. They've been inducting guys that have kind of just, you kind of look at them and you're like, so they're getting in. Does that mean a guy like an Al Horford's going to get in? Or a Patrick Beverley? Or like a Drew Holiday? Or a Derek White? These guys are good players. They're role players. They are good in their roles, but they are not stars. The stars that deserve to be there are Jalen Brunson, are Jason Tatum, are Jaylen Brown, are SGA, are Jokic, are LeBron, are Luka Doncic. I could even hear the argument about Austin Reeves. Not now, but at some point, because the trajectory is on. But a guy like a Joel Embiid is a guy that would get into the Hall of Fame, but he doesn't need to. He doesn't deserve it, in my opinion. Even a guy like Jamal Murray, unless he chips up, I mean, he's higher for me just because of his playoff success and what he's done in the playoffs, especially in the clutch. He's one of the clutchest playoff performers ever. But like Joel Embiid doesn't deserve to be there. Paul George doesn't deserve to be there. Bring up another guy, James Harden. James Harden's iffy. I can't think right now. Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Trae Young, Anthony Davis. These are guys, I just named 6 guys that I can almost guarantee you will most likely make it to the Hall of Fame in 10 years. You can come back to this video. You can do it. But I personally believe these guys don't deserve to be there. I just don't think so. I think they're good players. They're not great. By any stretch of the imagination, they're not great. They haven't proven to be great anywhere on the floor. They haven't been great. They're not great. They're good. They've had great moments, but they're not great players. They're not Hall of Fame caliber level players. I'm going with this. I'm talking about all of this because there's a guy by the name of Doc Rivers that was just fired from the Milwaukee Bucks after having a 32-win season with Giannis Antetokounmpo on your team. You have Darvin Ham on your coaching staff, who was just a head coach for the Los Angeles Lakers a couple of years ago, and I think Darvin Ham did a pretty good job. I think the only reason they let him go is because a guy by the name of JJ Redick came up, and I think it was just a styles thing. Honestly, Rob Pelinka needs to get his ego checked, and that's a different conversation for another day. I don't feel like going on another rant. We've been talking for about an hour straight now. But Doc Rivers, with what just happened with Doc Rivers, for him to be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year after being fired after the 3-1 loss, I don't think he is anymore. Yeah, he won a championship in 2008. Congratulations. You had Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen at his peak. Oh, did I mention you had Jason Terry? Did I mention you had Shaquille O'Neal? Did I mention you had Babyface? I wish I could remember his name. I apologize. I know the name. I can't remember the last name right now, but I can picture the face. Regardless, when you have these guys, of course you're going to win you were going to win the NBA championship last year. It was like 2024 when the Celtics were just dominant and put a gauntlet on the entire Eastern Conference and ran with it all the way to the NBA Finals and then won the NBA Finals in decisive fashion. But you had Drew Holiday, KP, Derek White, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard. You had an absolute squad that year. They didn't know. You knew that team was going to win the championship that year. You just knew it. It was done. It was a done deal. It was a complete done deal. Wrapped, packaged, sealed away, send it, sayonara, goodbye. Same thing in 2008 for the Celtics. Yeah, they snapped a streak. Congratulations. Seriously, congratulations. I mean, you snapped the streak. That was phenomenal. Kevin Garnett won a title. You're supposed to also win in 2010. You were the head coach for the Philadelphia 76ers for a point that lost to the Celtics in the Game 7. You blew a 3-1 series. You blew two 3-1 series with the Clippers. Two of them. Not one. Two. You blew two. You can't make it up. Everywhere you look, I personally don't believe Doc Rivers should be a Hall of Fame head coach. I just personally don't believe it. I think he's a good head coach. I think he deserves a lot of praise and props for what he's meant to the NBA as an ambassador, as a coach. I think he needs to retire, though. I think it's time for him to hang it up and call it a career in the NBA. And honestly, go back to the ESPN booth because, first of all, they know themselves they need it right now, especially after losing Mark Jones. And he was pretty good at it for a little bit. So I wouldn't mind seeing him back in the booth. He's a good analyst. He has a great basketball mind. He knows how to get the players in the right position. Or he knows how to talk about X's and O's and all that. But right now, in the current NBA, he's not the guy. He's not. He might be the guy that gets Giannis Antetokounmpo traded. And honestly, I think if he didn't get fired, he would have absolutely left. I think Giannis leaves regardless, but this is a team that has really nothing to play for if you look at them. If you really study the Milwaukee Bucks right now, they don't really have a whole lot to play for. They don't. When you lose by like 20 points. This is a team that won an NBA championship 5 years ago. But they haven't sniffed a conference final since then. They went to the second round against the Celtics. They went to Game 7. They were up 3-2 in that series. But they lost. And they lost 2023 as well. They lost 2 series against the Miami Heat. One in 2023, one in 2024. Yeah, they lost back-to-back years. Then you lose to the Indiana Pacers last year. And then this year you go 32-49. 32-49. I didn't look this up. I'm curious what Giannis Antetokounmpo, he averaged 27 points a game. He averaged 10 rebounds a game and 5 assists. How many games did he play in? How many games did Giannis Antetokounmpo play in this year? He played 36 games this year. So less than half. But still, he was also hurt for some of those. Some of those also, you decided not to play him intentionally down the stretch of the season. Granted, I understand. But this is a guy that needs to be on the court. If you want it, he's already asking to play. He wants to play, but you're intentionally sitting him. And he's putting it on full display that he's like, the Bucks are telling me not to play. If I'm the Bucks, first of all, I think you trade him. But if I'm Giannis, I absolutely leave this team. Quick, fast, and in a hurry, run away as fast as possible because the Bucks are a sinking, dying franchise. They are a dying franchise. Nobody wants to play for them. He doesn't need to be there dealing with half the nonsense that he's dealing with. So, when I'm looking at this team, I think it's time to go for him. And going back to Hall of Fame comments, like I said, the Hall of Fame needs to be tested in the NBA. Needs to be touched on. Last thing I'm going to talk about before my laptop dies and I hop off of you. NBA champion, give me the San Antonio Spurs. Either the Spurs or the Nuggets, one of those two. That's going to be my conference final. Well, actually, it can't be. But I wish it was. One of those two teams will find their way into the NBA Finals this year and beat the Boston Celtics in probably 6 games. Both of those teams would win in 6 games. Spurs or Nuggets, one of those two teams, whoever wins that second round matchup will go to the NBA Finals and win the entire thing. I'll see you guys in the next one. Drop a follow, drop a like. I'm dead tired, so I'm gonna hit the hay. I'm gonna try and, if you guys don't follow me on TikTok, I'm gonna try and stream some of these games starting tonight. So if you guys want to catch me there, I'll let you guys know when I'm there. Till tomorrow, my friends. Peace. Have a great night.